why shouldn't we raise the flag of this great country and the flag of our great union?
St George's flag is for the country. It's what our forefathers fought and died for. It's not offensive. Other flags can be flown. I don't see why they should do it.
Seems to me, a way of us saying, look, we're all together. We're not a racist community, yeah, I think it's a good thing. But it was inevitable that at some stage they were going to take them down.
But I think the government needs to listen on what the whole country's saying on what they want to do. So yeah, it's good that all the the flags are up and we're all sort of sticking together.
The United Kingdom is such a great country, and those who are trying to come here illegally know this. That's why it is imperative that we protect our identity as a nation and our British culture. Trump is right.
When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did, they repaid kindness with crime. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you, I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
Protecting our identity means policing our borders properly, so we don't allow people like this to stay here after arriving illegally.
Englishman, Nigel Pasa, don't talk about me. You not know me. I come to England because I want marriage with your sister. Don't talk about me more. I gonna come to England. I gonna mother.
AKA Mad Pasa, who was convicted of threatening to kill Nigel Farage. That's what we will continue to face if we allow mass unvetted illegal migration to continue. Now, I'm not saying that all migrants who arrive are dingy like him, but we open the door to people like that. Our towns and cities are changing beyond recognition, with large levels of both illegal and legal migration in such a short space of time. Of course, those who love this country and our way of life will try and protect it. And when you've got people like this saying stuff like this...
If you stick a pole and a Union Jack tomorrow outside your house, I think you're making a statement. And I think that statement is probably that you prefer Britain to be more white.
And MPs openly condemning the flag, like ex-Labour MP Rachel Maskell, who said her stomach churned when she saw Labour MPs waving the flag at the Labour Party conference. An MP for Loughborough, Jivan Shander, who made these comments on TikTok.
Time to take down the lamppost flags. I'm here on Epinal Way. There are flags hanging from almost every single lamppost. Now look, I love our flag. My wife wore that flag when she served in the British Army. I see flags flying proudly from flagpoles from public buildings. I see it when the England football team plays. And I don't think about those flags very much, actually. They're just there, it's quite nice. And yet here I am, with flags flying from almost every single lamppost. They're getting a bit tatty. The cable ties are coming loose. They could blow off in the wind. And then I see flags painted on roundabouts. And that is just a bit weird.
And let's not forget Gary Neville, who has replaced Gary Lineker as the village idiot.
All being turned on each other. And the division that's being created is absolutely disgusting. Mainly created by angry, middle-aged white men who know exactly what they're doing.
With weekly protests, which some might see as anti-Semitic, where flags of other nations are being paraded on our streets on a regular basis, is it any wonder British people who respect our heritage and history versus what many might feel is a takeover will do everything in their means to peacefully protect it? Fly the flag of this great nation proudly. Ignore those who call you a racist for doing so. It means all they see is colour, and it exposes their own racism, not yours. Somewhere in their minds they think Britishness is whiteness, and that's up to them. But it's not what crosses my mind when I wave the flag. When I wave the flag, I think of all the great opportunities this country has given me and all the wonderful people I've met on the way. I don't think what colour they are. The only colours I think of are red, white and blue.
We're living in a time of what feels like pretty significant social change, and it makes us question things that we've even taken for granted for decades. And one of those at the moment that people are wondering about is actually money. Is the money in your bank account safe? Should you be investing elsewhere? Are we looking at a potential global crash? What will it mean for your savings? Is there a way that you could be using your money that might be outside of government control even? Well, TallyMoney is potentially one solution. So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO and founder of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. What is TallyMoney?
Well, at TallyMoney, you basically get gold you can spend. So we give people an individual account in their name, everyday account. They get a sort code, an account number. They use that account just like they would pounds from their bank, but it's milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. Why would you do that, though? What is the benefit to the customer instead of just having a normal pound sterling account?
Gold's performance against the pound is above 11% per annum over the last 25 years on average. But we still need money in our daily lives, and we have savings. We know that it's good common sense and prudent to save up for things, not just living credit. You know, whether it's a holiday or a rainy day, your retirement planning, you need to have money in your life, basically, that you can rely on, that's dependable, that nobody meddles with, that nobody can weaponize against you, which is another element of government control when it's the government currency, which we could talk about another time. And it should be pretty simple and straightforward, and that's what we deliver at Tally. And really, we just want people to feel safe and happy with their money. There was a time when the bigger your bank balance, the more confident you felt. Now it's like, I need to do something with it. I can't leave it there. In Tally, you can.
Okay, brilliant. Cameron Parry from TallyMoney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev.
Well, I'm joined now by the founder of the Sanctuary Foundation, Dr. Krish Kandiah. Dr. Krish Kandiah, welcome. Really good to see you again. Look, I'm sick and tired of people complaining about us flying the flag and raising the United Kingdom flag and the cross of St. George. I mean, look, why are these people stepping out and calling it racist?
It's great to see you, Nana. I love the outfit, looking fantastic as ever. Look, I think it's about context. As one of your interviewers said, when it's an England football match, when it's St. George's Day, when it's a public building, we proudly fly the St. George's Cross. But we know there's a history. In the 1970s, when I was growing up, the National Front used the St. George's Cross in racist marches. Also, around some of those immigration hotels that have been put up, many people were protesting, saying, send them back, and they were wrapping themselves in the St. George's Cross. So it began to be used in quite an aggressive way. The best way I can think about it, Nana, I've used this before, see if you like it. Look, bricks. Are bricks good or bad? I think bricks are great. Without bricks, you can't have hospitals or homes or even schools. But if you saw me walking down the road carrying a brick, and I didn't look like I worked on a building site, you might take offense. You might be a little bit nervous. I'm going to do something harmful with a brick. So I think it's the same with flags. They can be used
hold on.
They can be used to intimidate people as well.
I'm going to have to stop you there. A brick is a solid, hard object. A flag just weighs gently. These are two very different comparables. You can't do much with the flag, but you can do a lot with the brick. So I'm going to have to stop you on that one. But look, let's talk about the BNP in the 70s. That was the 70s. We reclaimed the flag back. So we're not in the 70s now. And people have used the flag as they have used bricks for nefarious reasons. But now people are using the flag to proudly say they're British. They're not chanting racist slogans and doing things like that. They're saying, this is our flag, this is our heritage. We would like to proudly say we're part of this country. And they're all colours, not just white skinheads who want to destroy any race or whatever that comes to this country. And actually, there's very little of that around, in my view. And also, people outside the immigration centres where they're saying send them back, that's not necessarily racist, is it, carrying a flag? They are proud of their country. They want these people to go back to their countries because many of them are simply taking the mickey and they are using whatever legal means they can to bypass the system so they can stay in this country, having fled the safety of France. So, frankly, I'm with them on that. They're not flying the flag, chanting racist slogans. They're not happy with people from wherever they've come from, but coming to this country illegally via dinghy and then populating our hotels. I'm totally with them.
No, sometimes it does feel like we're going back to the 70s, not just
No, it
because
doesn't.
they're back in, but because people like Robert Jenrick are walking around parts of Birmingham saying he hasn't seen a white face. That sounds a lot like Enoch Powell, who said the same things of parts of Birmingham in the 70s. So we seem to be going back in the way that we talk about people. We tell people they're from backward countries. So this is the language of the 70s. We're back to some of the racist tropes that I experienced when I was growing up, my mum experienced when she arrived in the country. And
but he was talking about, but Robert Jenrick was talking about integration. So he was saying that somehow this place, which was initially obviously populated with mainly white people because this is the United Kingdom, which has a majority white population, he was saying that there's no integration with the people, the white people of this country. Now, I don't know. To me, him saying that doesn't really mean much to me. I don't really care. I'm not really. Sometimes I go to some places there are no black people, so what? Sometimes I go somewhere there's no white people. I don't necessarily notice it. I don't really care about it. I think the point he was genuinely making was that he didn't see a full integration. He was seeing sectors like almost like the places being ghettoised, and that's not an insult. Ghettoisation as in one race, one section of people being in one space, as in a mix of people being there. That is the point he was making, and I think it's a little bit unfair with people trying to drag that out of context and make him sound like a racist, because that's not on. And I think people do that a lot. They take things that people say out of context and then they try and make it sound racist, when what he's saying is, where is the integration? And I take his point.
Well, it did sound racist to me when he was judging a place just by the colour of people's skins. I've not heard him critique predominantly white places for not being integrated. So it does feel like we're going back to the 70s. Our language of division seems to be changing, and I'm sad about that. Because
what about when Akua Ando...
We can get along with one another.
Well, what about when Akua Ando said it's a very white balcony then? When obviously, you know, when she saw the royal family, of course, they're mostly white people, so they'll have white children, and you know what I mean? Was that okay?
Yeah, that comment. I guess, you know, our royal family are fantastic. They're made up of a lot of immigrants. You know, we've got German ancestry in our incredible royal family. So we should be a country that recognises the value of immigration, celebrates it. Stop trying to stir up hatred and division. That's my message to the nation. Let's find a way that we can love one another, get along with each other, because we can be stronger together.
So do you think what she said was racist then, when she said it's an incredibly white balcony?
I didn't hear the comment, but...
Well, she said that, yeah.
I don't want to judge people on the colour of their skin. Martin Luther King used to talk about that, didn't he? He wants to see a country in his day where your children, my children, can walk down the road together and enjoy freedom. I want that too. And I think some of the language that we're using lately is taking us backwards rather than forward to a positive future. We're looking over our shoulders more. I was in a school this week talking to some children who had experienced racism, and there's been huge numbers of racist incidents in schools on the increase. And sadly, that's what I had when I was a kid, and we're going back to a time that we don't need to go. We need to go forward to a time when we look at each other and say, look, we can get along. We've got more in common than separates us.
Well, surely then, if we all wave the Union flag together and say we're part of one United Kingdom, then that should hopefully get rid of it, don't you think? I would have thought that'd be the way.
I would have thought that would. It's not just about waving a flag.
Well, I think part of it would be to unite people under this similar banner, and that would be, to me, the Union Jack and, of course, St George's Cross and all the great flags of this country. Thank you very much, Dr. Chris Candiar. Really good to talk to you.